The ceremony to support the sick. Dear friends, this ceremony is to offer peace of mind and courage to the sick and to those who have been victims of disasters, as well as those who are ill from other causes. And we offer to these victims of disasters and illness loving kindness and compassion and courage. Let us begin by sitting in meditation for a few moments and coming back to our breathing. I'll invite 3 sounds of the bell.
Dear friends, you might want to light your offering at this time, and I will chant the incense offering. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful effort, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. The Dharma is deep and lovely. We now have a chance to see, study, and to practice it. We vow to realize its true meaning. Brothers and sisters, it is time to bring our beloved ones to mind, those to whom we wish to send the healing energy of love and compassion. Let us sit and enjoy our breathing for a few moments, allowing our beloved ones to be present with us now. Let us enjoy 10 breaths.
Today, the community has gathered to recite the sutra, practice mindfulness, and give spiritual support and offer peace to those impacted by the coronavirus, those that have illness, both physical and mental. Let's take a moment and bring those folks together, say them to yourself, and for the next minute. Brothers and sisters, listen carefully. Once one person is able to give rise to a deep sense of peace and happiness, the whole world benefits. We have gathered today to light the lamp of peace and happiness in our hearts by practicing sitting meditation, chanting, listening to readings, and being mindful in order to be in communion with the essence of great love, compassion, joy, equanimity, and fearlessness. These are motivating factors, forces that can transform situations of fear and danger and restore peace and happiness where it has been lost. The peace and joy of the world depends on our peace and joy at this moment. With all of our concentration and a one-pointed mind, let us recite the name of Avalokiteshvara.
Dear friends, in a moment I'm going to play a Plum Village chant of Namo Avalokiteshvara. And before I do that, I was wanting to share with you a little bit about Avalokiteshvara. There's a beautiful sutra, the Lotus Sutra, and I'd just like to share with you a few excerpts from the sutra. Avalokiteshvara is also known as Kuan Yin, and this bodhisattva who has achieved enlightenment but decided to stay with the world to help all beings to the other shore of suffering, is the embodiment of compassion. So what we can do when we hear the name Avalokiteshvara is we can remember that it's the embodiment of compassion. And the Lotus Sutra has this to say: chanting the Lotus Sutra by night, the sound shook the galaxies. The next morning, when planet Earth woke up, her lap was full of flowers. All living beings, caught in distress, oppressed by immeasurable suffering, are rescued in 10,000 ways by the wonderful power of her understanding. Miraculous power with no shortcoming, wisdom and skillful means so vast in the 10 directions of all worlds, there is no place she does not appear. The paths to the realms of suffering, the path of birth and old age, sickness and death, hells, hungry spirits or animals, are all purified, brought to an end. Heart of compassion, like rolling thunder. Heart of love, like gentle clouds. water of Dharma nectar raining upon us, extinguishing the fire of afflictions. In the courtroom, the place of lawsuits, on the fields in the midst of war, invoking the strength of Avalokita, our enemies become our friends. Sound of wonder, noble sound, sound of one looking deeply into the world, extraordinary sound, sound of the rising tide, the sound to which we will always listen. With mindfulness, free from doubts, in moments of danger and affliction, our faith in the purity of Avalokita is where we go for refuge. We bow in gratitude to the one who has all the virtues, regarding the world with compassionate eyes, an ocean of well-being beyond measure. The chant that I will be playing is offered by the monks and nuns in the Plum Village tradition. And I have a very fond memory of Thich Nhat Hanh during this chant, where he does mudras with his hands. There's 3 parts to the chant. On the first verse, he goes like this, and it's bringing the mind of awareness to compassion for ourselves. On the second, it's bringing the mind of awareness to compassion for another. And on the third, it's bringing the mind of awareness to compassion for all beings. So you too may want to practice by bringing your thumb and fingers together to help keep track. Throughout this chant, I encourage you just to listen and breathe and be with the beauty of what's being offered.
The nectar of compassion is seen on the willow branch held by the Bodhisattva. A single drop of this nectar is enough to bring life to the 10 directions of the cosmos. May all afflictions of this world disappear totally, and may this place of practice be completely purified by the Bodhisattva's nectar of compassion. Homage to the Bodhisattva who refreshes the earth. From deep understanding, the flower of great eloquence blooms. The Bodhisattva standing majestically on the waves of birth and death, free from all afflictions. Her compassion eliminates all sickness, even that thought of as incurable. Her light sweeps away all obstacles and dangers. The willow branch in her hand, once it is waved, reveals countless Buddha lands. Her lotus flower, when it blooms, becomes a multitude of practice centers. I bow to her. I see her true presence in the here and the now. I offer her the incense of my heart. May the Bodhisattva of deep listening touch us with her great compassion. Homage to the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara.
Have now found confidence in the highest awakening. However much we may have drifted on the ocean of suffering, today we see clearly that there is a beautiful path. We turn toward the light of loving kindness to direct us. We bow deeply to the awakened one and to our spiritual ancestors who light up the path before us, guiding every step. The wrongdoings and suffering that imprison us are brought about by craving, hatred, ignorance, and pride. Today we begin anew to purify and free our hearts. With awakened wisdom, bright as the sun and the full moon, and immeasurable compassion to help humankind, we resolve to live beautifully. With all of our heart, we go for refuge to the 3 precious jewels. With the boat of loving kindness, we cross over the ocean of suffering. With the light of wisdom, we leave behind the forest of confusion. With determination, we learn, reflect, and practice. Right view is the ground of our actions in body, speech, and mind. Right mindfulness embraces us. Walking, standing, lying down, and sitting. Speaking, smiling, coming in, and going out. Whenever anger or anxiety enter our heart, we are determined to breathe mindfully and come back to ourselves. With every step, we will walk within the pure land. With every look, the Dharmakaya is revealed. We are careful and attentive as sense organs touch sense objects, so all habit energies can be observed and easily transformed. May our heart's garden of awakening bloom with hundreds of flowers. May we bring the feelings of peace and joy into every household. May we plant wholesome seeds on the 10,000 paths. May we never have the need to leave the Sangha body. May we never attempt to escape the suffering of the world, always being present wherever beings need our help. May mountains and rivers be our witness in this moment as we bow our heads and request the Lord of Compassion to embrace us all.
I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Dwelling in the refuge of Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I learn to open many doors on the path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge of Sangha, shining light that supports me, keeping my practice free of obstruction. Taking refuge in the Buddha in myself, I aspire to help all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the mind of love. Taking refuge in the Dharma in myself, I aspire to help all people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to help all people build fourfold communities, to embrace all beings and support their transformation.
Reciting the sutras, practicing the way of awareness, gives rise to benefits without limit. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path.